Reckless swing? What kind of playground is this? Fresh and buds now.
Fresh and
All right, folks. Welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh and Buds. I'm your host, Tommy Fresh. You are all my buds, and today I'm so happy to welcome Summer of Smashing Good Team, the third member. We've hit Brian, we hit Amy, we got Summer, even though it's in the dead of winter, and the groundhog saw his shadow, and I said, not on my watch, I'm bringing Summer on the pod. How's it going, Summer? Welcome to the show.
It's going all right. How are you, Tommy?
I'm good. I'm just, we were chatting before the show. I had a little bit of a plumbing incident right before this, which makes it sound grosser than it was. I just had to fix something, but, I'm getting ready for Penn. That's what I'm doing. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Fab's keeping me sane, and it was a frozen pipe issue specifically, and I definitely have been trying to ward that off with my drafty Chicago, poorly insulated apartment for the last couple of weeks. Thankfully, I have been able to avoid that, but my faucets were all dripping for a while.
That is smart, very smart. I am new to the faucet drip game, and I'm starting to master it. So I am also being kept. Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. We'll talk about it a bit. Flesh and Blood is not keeping me sane because, I had a rough RTN weekend. But yeah, it is what it is. But let's get into your journey. We're going to be talking about obviously Penn spoilers in a bit here, but got to learn about Summer. First time on the show. And we're just going to get right into it with your journey with TCGs and Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, so Fab is actually my first TCG. I've never played a paper one before, so everything I've learned about Magic has been against my will since I started playing this game. I played Gwent, which was the standalone version of the Witcher card game. I got into that over COVID, and when it was shut down a couple years ago, or it was announced that it was going to shut down, which was over 3 years ago at this point, I had heard about Fab, and I wanted to continue the community thing, but I also wanted to make more friends because I moved to Chicago right before COVID hit, literally 2-3 months. And so I had met some people, but not a ton. And so I wanted to get out and meet more people and also get off my phone more. And so I wandered into one of our local stores, Good Games, and I was like, how do I play with you guys? I'm here to play. And the rest was sort of history. This was right before Outsiders. So
it's a good time to get in. Outsiders was amazing set. And, I always look back on that fondly. And that's, I knew a little bit about Gwent, and I wish I also was in the situation with you that anything I knew about Magic was against my will, but unfortunately it was my will for a long time. But that's okay. We look back on it fondly sometimes, and I definitely relate with the get off the phone thing. Even recently, I'm trying to get off the phone more because it just. I don't know if you have an iPhone. Those out there with an iPhone know on Sunday, they're like, hey, this is how much you were on the phone this week. You're like, oh, no, that's not good. But I get that for sure. Even to the point, this is actually a wild thing. I'm looking at MP3 players so that I can just have an MP3 player with my music and I don't have to even worry about looking at my phone when I'm listening. But
I've seen a lot of people doing that. It's the move right now.
I know. It's like the dumb phone move or whatever.
Yeah.
But listen, you got into Fab right before Outsiders. That's really cool. What about it, especially compared to a game like Gwent, from my very little knowledge of that game, this does not seem like it at all. What about Flesh and Blood outside of like I guess thematics maybe to a certain extent? What about Fab was like
Yeah,
okay?
it's not anything like Gwent really, except for like they're both like, fantasy
Mm-hmm.
themed kind of, but a lot of TCGs are obviously. But really, what drew me in, I'm like a big RPG head. Like I love playing RPGs. Like my comfort games right now have been like the Dragon Quest series. You know, I love, and I also played a lot of Dragon Age, and I played Mass Effect. RPGs are like my favorite type of game of all time. So the fact that it's sort of a little bit like that, where, you have your character and you equip them and you like send them off to go fight or whatever is really fun. And I think the thematics are very strong. I think the fact that there's like a good amount of women and we're getting more women in the scene all the time. Um, like the fact that I stayed is because, a lot of the men also are like older, and a lot of them are married and have families. And so like everyone's very chill. Everyone just like wants to play good games and foster a good community. Um, so and like especially shout outs to the Chicago community because we're like really great. And anyone who comes in who is like a little toxic, they just somehow leave. It's not even like we push them out or anything. They just like realize that they just like don't fit into like our happy, positive um, scene. So that's really nice. And then, as I mentioned, um, Outsiders came out like a month or two after I started, and I just immediately fell in love with Azalea and her play style. And also, I was really interested in Lexi. Like, um, there is like a ranger sort of faction in Gwent that I played a lot, Squaretel, and they actually had like trap cards and stuff like that, which I know other games do as well, but it's fun to like have a little bit of that. Like I always love a ranger character. So I was really drawn to the rangers. Not so much Riptide, although I have changed my mind since because that deck is really fun.
It really
Uh,
is.
Shout out Return Fire, one of the best
Yeah.
cards in the game.
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, that's what drew me in, and that's what's kept me in. And also I love, meeting all these people. I have friends in New Zealand now. Like, how crazy is that?
It
I've met people
is.
all over the world.
It is the coolest part about this game because this game is like still it's growing rapidly, right? There's no doubt about it, but still like
Yeah.
relatively close knit. And yeah, I mean, the community aspect is so important, especially like the good vibes. And like you said, a lot of people with families are just like happy to get out and play some games. Doesn't matter, in the end of the day, like I've been around a lot of toxic like communities, and it never felt good coming home, right? Like in the moment you're playing the games, whatever, you're having fun, but it never felt good on the way home where you're like something was missing, right? And I rarely feel that with Flesh and Blood, which is just amazing. So happy that you stuck around. I think it's very important that we have a very diverse group of people in this game. So that's pretty sick because I remember playing games that was just a bunch of dudes that just looked like me, and it was whatever. It needed to change. It was wasn't very welcoming. Although like I try to be welcoming, and if other dudes look like me, I would hope they would be welcoming as well. But we're all different, so that is what it
Yeah,
is.
and dudes like you have to sort of like lead by example because you'll be taken more seriously. But like just overall, it's great to see, like, especially I've noticed in the last like year and a half, a bigger like influx of women and girls into the scene, and it just like completely changes the vibe, and I love it
Mm,
because
yeah.
it's like very isolating to just be in a room where I'm the only one, because I'm, like I'm treated nicely, but there's just the sense that I don't quite fit in, that I don't quite belong. I'm not part of the boys' club, and I engage with them differently. So it's just nice to have more women to offset that. And it's not like we all have to be best buds, but it's just, I mean, we're all going to be buds because this is Fresh and Buds.
Yeah, obviously.
But it's just nice to just be around a more diverse group of people. Absolutely.
No doubt, no doubt. And there's always more work to be done, and like LSS I think does a great job, not without their faults, that's for sure, but Definitely. they do a better job than most, I would say. And we just gotta, I think, just inspire people to be better and continue to do that. And like you said, lead by example is huge.
Yeah, I've had conversations with James White actually about this sort of thing, and obviously he's not in charge of everything anymore, but he tries to be a force for that sort of thing, being very inclusive and very welcoming. And I think as long as we keep that energy, are purposeful about it, as the community grows, then we can hold on to that a little bit and have less of a reputation, for example, like Magic does.
Mm-hmm. So, and hold each other accountable and LSS accountable. Definitely. For sure.
Definitely. All of those.
Yeah. But listen, I think we're going to do all right. I think we're on the right track.
Yeah,
and it's pretty awesome. Now, unfortunately, sometimes, playing the game could be awesome. This is a weird segue. Playing the game could be awesome, but
this
sometimes,
is a great segue.
Sometimes you just gotta we gotta bully one person really hard, right, on stream, and to for the greater good. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Tell me about your Kraken's Aether Vein experience.
So yeah, for people who don't know, so this was early into LL's cycle into becoming a competitive format. This was actually, this is insane. This was a year and a half ago or longer. Yeah, it was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Or a little bit longer than that, maybe a year and 8 months, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, there was this ProQuest Plus the day after a battle hardened up in Milwaukee, which is 90 minutes north of us. And only 20 people showed up to the PQ Plus, which is really unusual since there had been, 150, 160 the day before, but everyone was scared of this Verdant's Kraken's Aether Vein. And I was not plugged in at all. I was not paying any attention. There are 2 players who are on this, which is a big combo deck. You amp a bunch, deal a bunch of damage with Kraken's Aether Vein, amped, you draw 30 cards, and then there's a couple ways to resolve the combo, but the one that I got hit with on stream was fire breathing. It was unfortunately I interrupted them because we were just having a silly time. A shout out to Logan. They're great. We had a great game. I knew this was going to be some silly shit. So we just sat down and the judge was just hey, we're going to have a good time today. I don't know what's going on. And just had a blast. So I interrupted them to make my own little jokes, and they lost count. So they said 186, but someone actually went back and counted it later, and it was 190 something.
Jeez. Oh my God. I mean, I remember this happening. Oh my God.
It was so funny. And it was great because that was the first time that I had top 8'd something big, and it was on my beloved LL Lexi. I really love that deck. And I'm sad that it's not good enough in LL anymore. RIP. But I had gone through a whole Prism Gauntlet, Tar Pit Trap, my goat, Herald of Erudition. Okay, I'll take 2 and trap it. It has go again, so you don't draw 2 cards and it doesn't go to soul. And they just deflate every time. They're just
now, Summer, imagine if you dealt 1 damage too with Riptide.
Now, imagine if I dealt damage. We're going to have to talk about that, the rules update, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I got blowed up, but like I knew it was gonna happen, so it was just really funny, and it's become like a very iconic moment, and like it's funny because people still recognize me for it, and I'm like, oh right, and I it kind of kicked off my losing streak on stream for a while,
Mm.
um, but I have since rectified that now, which is great. Now I have
Well,
officially won on stream once or twice.
very, very nice.
And then like 3 days later, like James White and Brian Gottlieb released uh that dev talk about Kraken's Aether Vein and banned it
Mm-hmm.
like 3 days later and like apologized to MinMax and kind of to me. And I was like, right.
I mean, it was so cool. I mean, like, it was not cool that it happened to you, but you know what? You kind of stamped yourself in like a point in flesh and blood history, which is cool. Funny enough, it was a fire breathing, and somehow Kraken's Aether Vein got the ban. I mean, come on. Like, who's the real villain? But yeah, I just, I knew when you were coming on, I had to at least chat about it with you because when I saw that, I was like, holy smokes. Like, I had heard rumors of this deck. I knew it, like as soon as we started seeing amp stuff and people were like, oh, Kraken's Aether Vein, I'm like, oh, I wonder how far that can be pushed. And then we got to see it. So you got to do that, which was pretty neat. Now, moving ahead to more recent times, I mentioned we had Amy and Brian on, smashing good team. You're making content. How's that going? How did you get involved?
It's going good. We had made the Discord actually like several months before we even talked about content or anything, but Brian Hoffman, he has such a fun perspective on the game and he has a really fun personality and he wanted to do some like he saw like a niche that like people didn't cover for Fab and he wanted to get in that space and sort of like share his love for the game and kind of get in on the ground floor because I think we still are kind of like Fab YouTube. I think we're getting like a little bit closer, but like the scene is still so young that there's a lot to cover. And for me in particular, I like before we even started the team, like I studied English lit in high school and college a lot, and I've always loved literary analysis. And I've played Runeblade, and and Max Ferocity, and I talk about like romantasy and stuff. And she had sent me the Florian and Verdant's stories that were coming out about Rosetta.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, this is some really great layered stuff that I think people don't know about because it's like, it's pretty niche, which is to say like the heroine's journey and like how it differs from the hero's journey and stuff like that. So I wanted to talk about that because I find it like very affirming and like a great way to think about art and stories and stuff like that. And then I, had noticed for almost since I started playing, since Rune Blades are so popular, all of like the music related stuff, and I wanted to like dive deeper into that.
Mm-hmm.
So those had been bouncing around my brain for like a long time. And when Brian started the channel, I was like, hey, I can help with like XYZ or whatever, but like would it be cool if I put up some video essays? And he was like, yeah, like we want sort of like all sorts of things to go on the channel and it's a little scattered sometimes I think, but I think ultimately like we do a lot of good stuff and people are drawn to that and it's nice to see like good responses, especially like to vlogs or like the Patrick Sullivan stuff
Yeah.
that Brian did last year. Incredible. And then also like people being so kind about my video essays. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I always love seeing like fresh takes on the game through YouTube, and I always felt like you guys were doing a good job there. And I also love the like yeah, it's varied, right? Like you said, like but that's okay. Like a variety show is great, right? Like people love variety shows, and you all have like very different personalities. It's not like you're trying to make each other all the same, right? You're just like, well, I'm Summer, he's Brian. Like this, like it just makes a lot of sense in that way. So I appreciate it, and yeah, you guys are doing great stuff. And yeah, the Runeblade video was chef's kiss
Thanks.
on that one. But now I do have to ask, you had some, a recently good RTN season.
Yeah, it was I actually like didn't get to go to Mini because they in Chicago, our first one was scheduled on January 3rd, and I was out of the country. Like I had made plans like months before, like I was gone for New Year's, and I was like, hello. So I like missed two of them before I even got back to the US, and then like completely bombed out of my first one that I was able to attend in Chicago, and then I was sort of like dooming about it a little bit because I was just like, ugh, I don't know if I'm going to do it because I've tried for 3 years and I'm trying to be better at this game. I've made definitely strides in the last year or so. Like I top aided Rainbow Pitch League, and of course, like the year before, I had done a couple of things, and I finally had started, making top eights at RTNs and PQs, but I'd never actually qualified for nationals. And not that I think I'm a nationals level player, but I wanted to like at least try,
Yeah.
So, um, I was asking around, and one of our other locals, Gabe, was driving up to Odd Willows, which is in Wisconsin, and he offered me a ride. He's like, great. I don't want to do this drive by myself, so let's do this. So it was great. It was like 10 degrees that day, or like -15 or something like that. Insane. And it was like an hour and 40 north. And the store, shout out to Odd Willows. It's such a cute, like nautical themed store, and the owners are so kind. And they have a team up there, Team Second Cycle, and one of the guys likes to stream all of their RTNs and PQs, so they have like a really great setup up there. And it's just like very like Midwestern hospitality. Like, we pay a little bit more for the entry, but then they provide like a whole free snacks table all day, which is great.
Very nice.
And yeah, I brought KO. Shout out to Florin Christian Login. I bought his list off his Metafy, and it's a good list. I'm no deck builder. I'm always a net decker. I don't know how to build decks, and I don't know how to tweak them. I only know how to be like, I don't like this card, I'm taking it out. Yeah, and the day went very well for me, which was unusual, but I had a string of good luck and some ridiculous Blood Rush Bellows turns. So it ended up going to finals, which is great. And then played it out against one of my locals, Mike, on Dio. And yeah, I didn't end up taking it, but I'm still very proud of myself in my run, and I qualified for Nets. So
Yeah. Well, listen, I gotta take a step back there. You mentioning that you're not a Nats level player, but you are because you qualified, and that is the facts. I mean, listen,
that's true.
you're there and you're gonna do it. So no, congratulations. Like that first like nationals qualification just like feels so good. Just like, wow. It's like validating, and like you put in the work, and like it is hard to deck build. So there's nothing wrong with net decking, especially in a game like this. Like deck building is like really hard in this game, I would say.
I agree.
And
I think especially in this game, it's weird for people to be like snobby about that. Because exactly what you say. This game is hard, and like I feel like it's hard to evaluate power sometimes in Fab. Like sometimes it's very obvious, but it's not easy to evaluate cards. You need to test with them. You need to spend a lot of time testing with them. And that's why, like, I think it's cool that people are like, hey, you can buy my deck list and all my sideboard information for like $25.
Great.
I will happily pay $25 for, hundreds of hours of your expertise.
Oh, yeah. And from Florin, too, who's a killer, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like, to be honest, like now that I think about it, like the fact that deck building's so hard in this game, it could be why some things slip through the cracks with the dev team sometimes. Cause like, it's hard to build a lot of really good decks. They don't see everything. It's impossible.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And like, especially like the card pool is not huge, but it is big enough. And when you have like a smaller testing team, you want to like dial in, and like not only is deck building hard, but playing the decks is hard.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's not like an easy thing. You have to like make the right call. So even if you have the best deck or whatever, if you play it wrong, you're not going to win all that often. So the fact that you need to play at a high level and deck build at a high level is part of the reason why I think things slip through the cracks, and why I'm so glad that they got some more pro players on to sort of help with that. And I think that'll do a good job, and just staffing up in general, just having more people, more eyes on these things will also help.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. The things that, we're I hope far away from like crazy things slipping through the cracks, at least on the gameplay level. But you never know. But
no more Zen.
Yeah. We're not gonna, we won't close the door on it. Now, we do have to do your fresh faves, Summer, of course.
Oh yeah.
We need to know your favorite cards in the game. We have to know them, actually. And starting off, I need to know, who is your favorite hero?
Do they have to be legal, or can they be LL?
They can be whatever. Listen, I mean, I've had quite a few people answer Chain, OG Prism. I don't know why OG Prism, but they answered it.
OG Prism has her shooter, so that makes sense. But so yeah, it's got to be Azalea for me. Absolutely, like she's my boo. She's my first hero. I am so lost without her. Please send help.
Yeah. It would be nice to. I mean, I think we're getting close to. I mean, well, actually, we'll talk about the pen spoilers. I think they've drawn the line in the sand on who they want to be the Ranger going forward. Maybe. But moving on, what's your favorite weapon?
It's Death Dealer. Pay one, draw a card. That's so powerful.
Yes, it sure is. And I will be surprised if it really lasts in Silver Age, because, well, who knows at this point. Now that Chain got banned, which I haven't even talked about since, because it happened after I recorded last week. Right. But yeah, Death Dealer.
Yeah, it remains to be seen, because it just depends on what they do with like the Guardian block slop in Sage, because she is pretty fatigable, and I think part of the problem is like people aren't quite building her correctly. I'll talk about it later, but like I don't think Ravenous Rabble should be in the Sage version of the deck. So I think you just got to go like 17 dominate as many times as you can.
Absolutely. Favorite equipment?
Favorite equipment is probably it's probably Face Purgatory.
Nice.
So I'm mostly a Ranger player, but I've dabbled in Vinset because I like to brick no matter what deck I'm playing.
Yeah.
But Face Purgatory, first of all, stunning art, incredible. I love it. And it's such an interesting and like kind of tricky effect to pull off, but it's so powerful when you can.
Yeah, it really is. And like, it has the Scowling Fleshbag effect, right? Your opponents even overthink it. Like, if I attack with this and they do that, am I screwed? Like that kind of thing. It's very good. Disruption on defense, still good.
Yeah.
Favorite class and or talent card?
Class or talent card? It's gotta be Codex of Frailty.
It's fair. It's fair. It's a good one. Not as good anymore, which,
So good.
I mean, still very good, but overcrowded kind of.
Overcrowded is very good, but like I was playing against Brian this was a couple months ago at this point. Um and he like blocked with overcrowded for like 6 value and I still beat him. This was a Fang versus Riptide, so like it didn't matter.
Oh yeah. That's a doomed matchup.
It did not matter. That's such a doomed matchup.
Oh man. Favorite generic card, bonus points if it blocks 2.
It's got to be Premeditate.
Yeah.
You think of it as a ranger card, but it's actually not. It's generic. It's a +3 pump if your next attack is played out of arsenal, and it's active. Once you play it, it's active the whole turn, not just the whole chain, which is nice. And you get a ponder on hit, which is just an incredible on hit, and it's great in like especially Riptide, because you do play some generic attacks, and you can load like Ravenous Rabble or E-Strike off of playing it from hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, Ravenous Rabble for 7?
Pretty good. It's class era.
E-Strike. E-Strike for 10.
E-Strike for 10. Command and Conquer for 9. I mean, you name it, we're doing it. That's a great one. I'm surprised, I remember back when I first started, like Chain played Plunder Run, right? And, that had a similar effect, right? +3 from Arsenal, and the next card that hits this turn, draw a card, which was a rare, and Premeditate is a majestic.
Mm-hmm.
A little crazy to think about that. I'm surprised more.
Listen,
We've learned.
Balancing a card game is hard.
Yeah, it sure is. But that's a great answer. And yeah, people do forget that it certainly is generic. Now, what's your favorite token in the game?
Gotta be Blood Rot Pox.
Ooh, yeah. 2 damage?
2 damage. Can you pay for it?
Yeah,
no?
Can you play for it?
The amount of people that I've killed by like taking their whole hand in defense, and then they still have a Blood Rot Pox and they die to it at the end of their turn is just chef's kiss.
It is very sweet. I will say my favorite win with the Blood Rot Pox was chain reaction, trigger, flip Blood Rot, Codex of Blood Rot, play at the end of their turn. You're like, oh man, I didn't have a blue. Gotta love it.
Didn't have a blue. That's great. Yeah, I haven't actually tested with chain reaction at all, because it seems like so
bad,
niche to activate.
It's getting better. It's getting better. I swear. Only in Riptide. Now, Riptide. In the world of Wraith, Summer, you mentioned you're a big RPG fan, so this, I think you're very qualified to answer this. What class and talent would you be?
I would probably be like a lightning bard. I think.
I like that.
I like to talk. I like to sing. I like to travel around. Secondary, I would probably be like a lightning or an ice ranger, like Lexi.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
But I think I would most likely be a bard.
Bards we just got a new bard card that, like,
I know,
out of the blue. I'll be talking about it next week, folks. But yeah, interesting. Now, before we get to some spoiler talk, in your estimation, what is the greatest set of all time in Flesh and Blood, by whichever metric you choose?
That is such a hard question, because they're all interesting in like different ways, you know?
Yeah.
I have such a fondness for Outsiders still. It's my first one, and I think it's a really good draft set. The Hunted was also really great. I really liked that draft. And the cards are really fun. But yeah, I think I'll have to stick with Outsiders. I just love Outsiders.
Outsiders is awesome. Gave me Riptide. I mean, traps. When I saw Collapsing Trap get spoiled, I was like, this changed my life. So that's.
I love Collapsing Trap. It's the funniest and the meanest card in this game. It's hilarious.
And the fact that we can like start recurring it, like I play multiple Collapsing Traps in a game, it just feels amazing. So, yeah, great answer. You know, I like that answer quite a bit. I can't wait to play some more Riptide.
That's what happens when you get two Riptide players on a podcast together.
Oh, listen.
We're just like, hee hee hee.
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect combination of types of players on a podcast. Is two Riptide players, you know. Listen. Speaking of, we did get some Riptide spoilers. We got a lot of spoilers. I don't know if they're done per se. I think they might be.
No, there's 1 or 2 more days at least, because I know our spoiler is tomorrow.
What is it? You can't tell me. I mean, like, by the time this is out, people will know. But
just cut off. That's true. They will know already.
No, I'll wait. I'll wait patiently tomorrow. It's been a busy week, right? So over the weekend we got all the commons and rares, and now the majestics are kind of trickling in, and you know, it's been very interesting, right? The commons and rares gave us a pretty good idea of mostly, I will say, like a lot of Sage stuff, but there are some like real winners for decks that I play. I haven't been able to really pay attention to some of the decks that I don't play in terms of, you know, the commons and rares, but like when I see specifically RKO stuff, I got pretty hyped, you know, because that was a deck that I've been playing a lot of, and I immediately started brewing new decks if I can get to the reviled cards. There's just so many different kind of talents.
Yeah, I really feel like they give RKO like a lot of good stuff. I'm really interested to see how those arms work out. The one that's like, if you're at the same life, then it's treated as you being higher life.
Exactly. Line crossers. I mean, it's probably not in every matchup, but I think some matchups you just got to play it because, you know, it's just sometimes so hard to get that life lead early, and like it could be the difference of winning and losing sometimes. Chain of Brutality is one that I really am hyped about. This was the reviled brute attack action at rare. Attacks for 2, blocks 3. It's a red that costs 0. If it has 6 or more attack, it gets go again. And when this hits a hero, the next attack action card you play this turn has a 6 base. So it's, first of all, it's like, hey, here's 2 activations if this hits, right? 2 activations of RKO essentially. And the first one is it's a 4 for 6 go again. Not the best, but it doesn't have to be. You could just say, you know, whatever, pass if they overblock it, and you're like, all right, whatever, I'll try to do something next turn. It's the Azuri thing, right? And then you can follow it up if it does hit with like a Mocking Blow red for like 10, like for 0. That's pretty crazy. So that's the card I'm pretty hyped about. Yeah,
that one seems like it seems worth looking into at least, because you know I've also dabbled a little bit in RKO, and it seems very much like a noob stomper a little bit. Like if your opponent knows what they're doing and knows to like just give all their armor and just like keep on higher life, or you know whatever they can do, like it's so hard to get into the game and to like play your game plan. So anything that can like help him like actually do that will be good. So yeah, well, it remains to be seen, but it's definitely an interesting card. It's definitely something to like that I was looking at and going, ooh, okay.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, so yeah, the heroes that I play mostly, RKO, Riptide got a lot, right? A lot of traps. We got our first Do you react
Action
traps?
which is interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
And equipment traps, right? Which is
Yeah,
pretty
the
neat.
chest traps.
So, you know, I'm not going to read all of them, but the first one we really saw was Frail Swing Line, which is a blue 0-cost Ranger action trap that blocks 3. And it says, create a frailty token under target hero's control, has go again. And when this defends an attack with less than its base, its controller discards a card. So this feels like a real warrior killer, right? Because they don't really unless they're front loading their buffs, like oh wow, like I could be losing to a frailty, and like if you had 2 of these in hand, you play the one and then you try to block with the other and try to make them discard. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've played against some Kasai's where they spent more turns under frailty than not.
Yeah,
So I think there's like a very real like chance that this could be active. And because it blocks during the defense step, they don't have any opportunity yet to like play their attack reactions, which you would otherwise have to do. So that's kind of like a bit of a buff, although the 2 block is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why. This one I feel like is the best of like the whole cycle that they printed. Like absolutely. And it's miles better than the Majestic that got spoiled yesterday or this morning or whatever. What is time? I don't know what time is.
Oh yeah,
that one.
the tiger trap. So interesting enough about the tiger trap. So I got to bring it up because I don't think it's up on what's it called yet. It's not up on Fabry yet. But
Are you talking about the tiger trap one?
yeah. Let me bring this up so I can read it. It was interesting because it felt a little bit redundant, but then you think about it a little bit more. And yeah, this is Tiger Trap. This is a red 0-cost Ranger defense reaction trap. We're back to defense reactions. Blocks 3. Mm-hmm. When this defends and the attacking hero controls 3 or more attacks with attack greater than their base, attacks they control can't gain attack this turn. So first thought is like, wow, we just in time for Zen, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you're on Twitter anymore, but James White replied to a Japanese player who was asking like, what format are these cards for? And they were talking about the Starvo trap and this one. The rainbow goo that's like if it has +2 dominate and go again, it loses all of those and its abilities. And he was like, yeah, those were for LL. And I was like, all right, Riptide best deck in LL confirmed. We already knew it because of that battle-hearted Chicago Riptide who made top 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
shout out to Muselton.
I mean, this one, the rainbow goo trap, the one that literally is like, hey, shut down Starvo's nonsense. Yeah, that's obviously like, I mean, it's just like I guess like barely functionable anymore. I mean, I guess like there's some instances, I guess, with like I don't know, one of the elemental cards I think I felt like had something like that going on. But Tiger Trap at least is a Bolton killer, right? On a combo turn, which is neat.
Yeah.
But is Bolton going to be an issue? I don't think so. But
I think he is. Like the team has been pretty high on Bolton with all these new cards that have been revealed. And I think he just needed a couple of cards and he got a couple of overrate ones. So it sort of depends on what sort of meta we're going into. But I think Bolton could be a pretty viable meta deck at some point, like if someone finds the right build. But you've already taken damage from the other 3 chains, like this feels like it's meant for like a ninja Zen, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we're doing that, then, I don't like this card. I don't like this card. I'm like, let's just play Stonewall Gauntlet,
Yeah. I mean, I do think this is, I like, honestly, like Bolton's not really that much of an issue for Riptide anyway. But like if we expect Boltons, I think like you just run the Tiger Trap because, it will shut down. This could block essentially like 6 more damage, right? With like, sword swings. Hopefully, maybe 3 to 6 more damage plus the one.
Yeah,
from
maybe
the
maybe I'm dooming a little bit too much, but
it is very silly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna get my 3 copies just in case, someone like breaks it or whatever.
I mean, the tiger stuff is legal in Katsu, and I knew plenty of Katsu players that had the tiger plan for Oldham at one point. So
Kitty Katsu.
Still could be real. Now, what are some big takeaways for you from spoiler season?
So I have been. I don't know if you've noticed, like, my display name on Blue Sky and Twitter. It's all about Orion, and I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
But for people who don't know, so it's like this one-off character who is mentioned in the lore story that was dropped in conjunction with Mastery Pack Guardian last year. So Valda is like doing whatever she's doing, and there's like a monster that runs through the town that she's in, and Jarl is chasing it, and accompanying Jarl is a lightning ranger who introduces himself to her, named Orion or Orion, whichever one. I don't know. I've been saying Orion. So I've been sort of, putting the pieces together. We're getting Lightning Runeblade back this year with Aurora. Maybe there's like an Ice Lightning set. Maybe we get Lexi's power, but split into 2 people like they did with Briar, So we'll get a Lightning Ranger Orion, and then an Ice Ranger someone else, and then maybe like a Lightning, maybe a Aurora back, and then we could do like Icelander back as like an Ice Wizard, or could do like an Ice Runeblade maybe. So so there was this is like a whole big spiel. But there was a card that was spoiled that's essentially Ball Lightning on an elemental arrow. I forget what it's called, but it was like a 1 for 5, and they have the new, it's like arc something, but it's the Ball Lightning text. And if you pitch a lightning card,
yes,
arc bending. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't remember the names of any cards. None. I know what they look like and I know what they do, and I don't know the names of any of them. Yeah. So if you pitch a lightning card, it gets go again. So I think I think this is a hint. Also, the art is of a character who looks a lot like the guy who was on Trip the Light Fantastic. So I was thinking that maybe that's Orion, just a little lightning twink. So we'll see. We will see. I firmly believe that this was a hint to me, and maybe I'm just like delusional, but
hint to you specifically.
Hint to me specifically.
Summer. No, I mean, I like it. I mean, I'm definitely on the, like, I believe that the Aurora reprint and the Lexi reprint will have to kind of coincide, right? It just makes sense. And it fits really easy to get Icelander in there too, as well as, splitting them like they did with Briar, which I think was really smart. So yeah, I'm hoping that you're correct there. Now, you mentioned, I think that we might also get some stuff here at the end that we haven't seen, right? Because we have a bunch of spoilers left. You mentioned that you have yours, but there's still like a bunch of cards that we haven't seen. And we know that they like, the world premieres on Friday. We know that they like to get some little extra sauce, when people are opening up those cards. Fair enough. It's a great marketing opportunity. Notably, we haven't had a hero in this set. Do you think we're getting some heroes on Friday?
I am full team that we're not getting any new heroes in this set.
Whoa. Okay.
That's what I think is happening. I could be very wrong. I know they've been printing someone who looks a lot like Blaze, but I think I was looking at the release schedule for this year, and there's going to be another Armory deck Q2, so I think that could be Blaze maybe,
Okay.
like an Armory Origins. Because I like if you're picking up Blaze with this set, you're not going to have enough cards to make a deck for her, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
That's sort
guess
of my
so.
thing is like this is a supplementary product, and like Everfest had Icelander, right?
Everfest had
Um,
Icelander and Starvo.
and Star. Oh, I already forgot. Well, I wasn't around at this time.
Yeah.
Icelander and Starvo. Um, and then Dust Till Dawn was reprinting Chain, Vincent, and
Vincent.
Prism again. But I think since this is just an expansion set, I don't think they're going to print new heroes in this one because like you can't just like pick up a bunch of like cards and make even like a draft check deck for any of these heroes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know because like, it would be pretty wild. I think like Blaze was kind of the
The
big
thought,
kind
yeah.
of expectation. Also Terra, there's been some art that kind of was like, hey, maybe we'll get like adult Terra, And then
Yeah.
also coming off the tail end of like they had to have known that Kano was going, you know, a year ago or whenever they were
That
printing
that's
this.
why that's why I think the new shoes are being printed. I think they're
Hmm.
prepping us to ban Stormstriders
Yeah.
so that they can have these new shoes be the replacement
Yeah. Speaking of
because
these
it's sort
new
of like
shoes,
Stormstriders but a little worse.
yeah, you have to block with them, and then when they get destroyed, right? So you can't just like
Yeah.
nobody could just say pass, and then you're just like, oh, I guess I won't combo.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
could be wrong about the no heroes thing, but I just am not getting the sense that that's going to be happening. I think there's going to be like some cool stuff, obviously, and like there's another like antiquity pack thing that we haven't seen that I don't think is
Hmm.
going to get revealed. They're going to wait until someone opens it. Um, but I don't know. And if they print an adult Terra while we still only have two Rangers, I'm gonna throw myself into Lake Michigan. I'm tired of there being
Listen,
20. I counted one time. There was like 19 Guardians in this game, and I'd get two Rangers at once. Why? Why was this why must this happen to me?
hey, listen. I mean, what do we have right now? We have Marlin and Riptide. Listen, we'll get the Lexi replacement. Terra,
Yeah.
I think is coming at some point, right? It doesn't seem too good, right? Like it doesn't seem too game breaking. Although Guardian in general hasn't really seemed too game breaking. Although, actually, it's a great time to mention it. But you mentioned it earlier. The rule change. Allies, boom, when they attack, they're the attacking hero. Traps are going to trigger. Clash is going to trigger. Listen, allies, your time's over. It's over. You guys can't do it
Hell
anymore.
yeah. I love it
It's
they specifically called out Riptide and they like put his picture and they'd be like, yay, Riptide buff. And I was like, yes, let's go. And I like they mentioned it, but like it does work better thematically, you know, because like you're sending your ally, but you are sort of you're role playing as the hero who
mm-hmm.
is sending these allies out, you know? So I think it just makes a lot of sense and um like intuitively and like the way that they've been wording it for several years now, um you know, just like being specific about like the hero or whatever, and that's what you're doing because you're embodying the hero. Like maybe an ally is attacking but the hero is still controlling the ally. So yeah, I think it works obviously as a Riptide coper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yes.
very pleased to see this. I don't think it makes our gravy matchup any better, but
Listen,
maybe it can do something.
at least, I don't know. Hey, I have fatigued many a gravy on Riptide, and this does help on that front at least. So you can at least disrupt them
Yeah,
a bit.
I think you're right. Like I won't I won't feel so bad about my go again. Now I'm wondering, does Tar Pit Trap activate on an ally with go again?
No, it'll be a next attack action card that hits.
Next attack action
So
card.
like if you attacked with an ally with go again, I tar pit trap, it hits. Whatever effects will still happen. But then if you send a
Conk.
a conch, I believe that should be shut down at that point.
Okay.
Although I think that
Yeah,
that worked anyway, maybe because tar pit trap said when
it
this
did work.
defends a go again. But now you get the damage, which is
Now we
nice.
get the damage. Now that's the important. Now we get the damage.
Yeah,
That's
we get
important.
the damage.
Yeah, my gravies are teched for fatigue, so
Yeah.
they need to ban remembrance. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, listen, I will send endless arrow until I'm blue in the face, folks. I don't care. Now, before we get to some listener questions. This week, lot of information, a lot of spoilers. It's kind of really hard to get like a real idea of like how great this set's going to be yet until we start opening it and start playing with it. But our what would you say was your biggest winner, right? Like first impression, and then what perhaps didn't hit the mark.
So we've talked about some of our disappointments with the set, and like some of our highs as well. So something that I really liked, I just like the hints towards like the new heroes, just like getting the mind going. Like I don't know if you saw the necromancer gloves.
I did.
That was
I didn't
spoiled
read anything about them
yesterday or
though.
today. So it's very clearly not for gravy because it's like such a bad downside. So if you block with them, you can like bring an ally onto the arena,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you do, then when the like turn ends, you destroy that ally and then discard your hand.
Okay. Oh yeah. I did see that
And
one.
so that sort of says to me like a true necromancer who like wants to mostly play out of graveyard, which is interesting because obviously gravy can only play allies out of graveyard.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a really cool like hint towards the future because that's what Compendium is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a celebration of the past and a look towards the future. So I kind of like that sort of stuff. It's like stuff that is not immediately valuable, but could prove to be in a year or so or whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't gotten another necromancer yet based on the amount of assassins they printed so soon after Huntsman was originally shown. But yeah, I think you're right on the money there. I'm very excited for the potential of, we'd even touch Tough Nut, but they're giving Tough Nut some stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think he's right there. I think he's close. He's big, big, cute, dumb oaf that we love.
Yeah, exactly.
And he might be just like an armory killer, right? Like you show up, it's like, oh, that's so and so. They're our Tough Nut player, and they kind of like they rolled the roost here. But that's cool. I think that's good for the game. So
yeah, and this is just me being delusional, but I was kind of hoping that they would print like a worse remorseless effect at rare to like add like the first time, if this hits, first time your opponent plays a card, they lose 1 life next turn or whatever.
That would have been nice. Yeah, just a little bit more of that. Or
because
I think maybe even a step up of hamstring shot would have been nice. Like a 2 like tax on an attack action would have been nice, but we didn't get much arrows, did we?
Yeah, I have hamstring shot in, but yeah, we didn't get many arrows. which I kind of wasn't really expecting. The chest traps caught me a little off guard, and I don't think they're playable, but they are funny.
I think they're sage cards for sure. I think so.
Yeah. I'll get them all in cold foil anyway. It won't matter.
Yeah. But moving on, we do have some listener questions. Pen looks cool, no doubt. I'm excited for it. I still need to order some product because I forgot to, but that's okay. I'll get there. But we do have listener questions. Folks, if you want to submit listener questions to the show, join the Buds Discord. It's free for anybody to join. It's in the show notes below. First one comes from Capolo, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to help out with this one because I don't know which one's the best, but which out of the box pen deck is the best? The Sage decks.
I'm actually super prepared for this because we've been talking about it in the team Discord. Brian's actually going to do a video about it. So we were like going pretty deep into this, but I genuinely think that it's Azalea, and I'm not coping when I say that because it's very close to the deck that I've built for Sage. There are a few more yellows than I would have liked, like the yellow 0 cost, come in for 3. You don't want to see that really. But they have Murkmire Grapnel in there. They have Spire Sniping. They just did a good job, I think, with it. I would change a couple of things, but I think it's the most powerful, and it's the one that you most easily want to, that you can do the game plan, which for me, I believe is, 15 dominate as often as you can.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, and that's also the one that didn't really get any new cards, funny enough, right?
Exactly.
But I was like, this one's good enough, so send it.
I understand why, though, just because you don't want to blind Azalea into one of those action traps.
No.
Or whatever. Yeah. And you want the Blossom of Spring. It has Release Attention. It has Read the Thy Path. It has Spire Sniping. It has Got the Periphery. It's almost perfect, honestly. I would do a couple upgrades, but it's almost perfect.
Awesome. I know what I'm playing at ProQuest then. Yeah. Darth Prentice asked, which Flesh and Blood hero is most likely to always put their dirty clothes in a laundry basket, as opposed to the opposite?
Yeah, I read this backwards for the first time, and I was like, Azalea, obviously. She's the stinkiest girl. But since it's someone who's very conscientious, it's got to be Tough Nut. He's just such a good boy. He's such a sweetheart. He's going to be kind of dumb, but he's always going to, you get him a big laundry basket, he'll always put his dirty clothes in there.
And he doesn't wear shirts anyway, so there's not a lot.
It's just his pants. He just is the Hulk thing where he just has a loincloth.
Very, very nice. Junior asks, after seeing spoilers, what pen card were you hoping for that we didn't get?
Oh, oops. That's why I was thinking about this. So yeah, my answer was worst Remorseless. That was Sage Legal at rare, just a 1 for 5 with an on hit of your opponent losing 1 or 2 life. Obviously it can't be remorseless, but, or maybe even just another card, if it just had the other half of Remorseless, where it was if this is face up in Arsenal, if this is put into Arsenal face up, you can't play D-Rex from Arsenal.
Yeah.
So that'd just sweet. one half of Remorseless I would have liked to see.
Yeah. Maybe some block hate in Sage would have been nice to see too.
A block hate would be funny. That also would be really good. This can't be defended by block cards or something.
I think thematically arrows would be the best way to do that. In my opinion. But next we got a question from Sigma, who asks, as a Lexi player, what attracts you to playing Brute and why KO, which we talked a little bit about. Is there any other Brute or Brutes you'd like to play or wish they'd be good? They're all good, Sigma. Come on.
So they're all good. How dare you, Sigma? I thought you were a Brute enjoyer. So I switched to KO in heavy hitters meta because obviously Victor came out, and a lot of my locals are Guardian fans, and I hate the Victor Azalea matchup. I was like, I knew it was going to be terrible, and it was, and I hated it. So I like, before Heavy Hitters came out, I like bought into like all of the Brute Majestics that I could, because I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this. So I switched off Azalea for a little bit because that matchup was so miserable. And then obviously Victor got worse. Um, and I was still on KO for a little bit. I was just sort of like dumb, and I wasn't super good at the deck, and I missed having on hits like Azalea did, because if you just blocked a little and then like sent, 2 for 8, which is still pretty good. Like your opponent could just like ignore you. And then Zen came out and completely eclipsed KO. So I was back on Azalea at that point. But I think the deck is fun. Like I'm fine with the randomness. It's interesting because I hate boost. Boost feels so bad to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll never play Mechanologist. But the randomness is fun because you can like control it to a certain extent in KO. Scowling Fleshbag is another draw because that card is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been such a big Beaten Trackers fan lately.
Free action point.
It's just a lot of good cards. Yeah, and then I've been back on it like after Azalea left. I was on Riptide for a while. And that deck is really fun. I'm gonna just like Collapsing Trap and Return Fire once again. We've already mentioned it, but Return Fire is hilarious. So I think Riptide is not quite it when we're in an Acilio and a Gravy meta. So once Super Slime came out and he got a lot of good cards, Show of Strength, Reckless Stampede is amazing.
Yeah.
That card's crazy. It's so good. So sometimes it just says my opponent takes 7.
Yeah.
I actually in the quarters of the RTN that I made finals of, the Syndrome made me go first, and I drew it. The Reckless Stampede turn 0.
Oh, yeah.
And normally I wouldn't attack, but I'm like, nah, you gotta send it turn 0.
Yeah.
And I actually flipped up the Unexpected Backhand to win the clash.
Oh.
So that was an extra 2. That was an extra damage.
Ooh,
on top of the Reckless Stampede clash.
That's the dream right there.
And I probably should have kept it on top. It was pointed out to me later that I lost some value by bottoming it after that happened, because there was still like one more clash to go. But like the point of Reckless Stampede, one of the points of Reckless Stampede is to dig towards Blood Rush Bellow. So you bottom every card so that you just get a little bit closer to Blood Rush Bellow. So it was like one more card that I bottom versus one more point of value I would have taken off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I dealt like 4 or 5 damage to the Syndrome.
It's amazing.
But it could have been 6, I think, is what it was. So that card's crazy.
Yeah.
I toyed around with building Levia a couple years ago, but ultimately I like never got around to it. I was just too lazy to do it, and I just don't have time to learn multiple decks because I'm not very good at this game. Amy obviously is very Reinar pilled right now, and so we've had a lot of fun doing that. But I think he's going to be a little bit worse, unfortunately, after Mandible Claws go, which is going to be very soon, actually.
Very, very soon.
So, and I don't really want to play Tough Nut, but I am looking at RKO. I have everything for RKO. I even have like the cold foil boozes from the Black Friday packs, just because like people would just like hand them to me to open, and I'd be like, oh, here's a cold foil booze. I'll take that for RKO.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna do after KO goes, which is probably gonna be like first weekend of PQ, if he doesn't like win any callings or anything in between then and now, which might happen. There's still a possibility of that happening. So I'm thinking about RKO. I'm probably gonna be on Syndra for a while. I'm trying to be serious this year about getting better at Fab, and that means playing meta decks. So I think I might be on Syndra after that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, Rhinar is very, very cool. I mean, the Medax Rhinar, listen, Sigma, who asked the question, is a big proponent of the Medax Rhinar, and that's not going away when KO LLs. Now, over the weekend, I had my first Eugene C experience, paired into Eugene. Round 2. Eugene won the die roll, said, I'll go first. I'm like, pretty cool. Presents, what is the headpiece that you could just pop to draw and discard?
Is that, it's not Splatter Skull.
No, it's golly, it's like a rare. I forget what. Yeah, Monstrous Veil.
It's the Monstrous Veil. Yeah, I was gonna say it's the Rhinar spec from Heavy Hitters, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Opens up. I had a sigil, so first Intimidate happens. I say response sigil. I still went down to 29. It's all good. I did not win that game, but Eugene's. It was my first Eugene experience, and it was a lot of fun.
Eugene is so great.
Yeah. But hey, this has been a lot of fun summer. I'm really glad to get you on the pod. We've known each other for a bit now. Happy to get you on. I think you're a super important part of this community, and I'm happy to see you still playing and rocking. So, yeah. Could you please plug?
Thanks, Tommy.
Of course, anytime. Can you plug anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm at Serene Shireen, or you can just search Summer Orion Simp or something like that. And then subscribe to our YouTube channel, Smashing Good Team. We have a lot of good stuff coming out, and I'm actually working on like a little micro series of shorts that'll go up hopefully in the next couple weeks. And then, my next video essay, which I've been working on slowly. Lots of good things in the future. And, we're trying to take advantage of us all being in person, which is really nice, and do some in-person games that we record. We set up a whole studio in Amy's place. And, she's been sort of our queen of gameplay. So we're trying to get that going and make that a 3 floating-esque series. So lots of good stuff. So please follow and subscribe, all that stuff. Yeah.
Smash the button, as they say. Please do check them out. In the past couple months, you've seen all 3 of them on the show, and I think we all agree. You guys are great. All buds, big bud energy across the board. You can continue to find me on Blue Sky at freshbudspod. Check out the Buds Discord. Fresh Juice is an indie game podcast I do with my cousin every week. This week what are we playing this week? Oh, we just kind of did some play tests and demos. It was a lot of fun. And then Patreon, check that out. I missed my bonus ep last week because I was working a lot. It's been a busy couple weeks, but this week I won't. I mean, by the time you listen to this, the bonus ep will be out. Anything else? Be cool. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you listen on Spotify, I think you can rate. You can even comment on there. I don't really see them, or I do 2 months later, but I will answer them then. But finally, Summer, I always like to end every episode talking about food. What's some food you want to shout out, talk about, crave right now, etc.?
I'm thinking about Detroit style pizza.
Ooh, very nice. It's a
one of my favorites.
I don't know if it's underrated anymore as a style of pizza, because I think 5 years ago, people, nationally hadn't really heard about it, but now you're just seeing them everywhere. It's a good style. It's a good style. But
so good. Stick to your ribs kind of pizza.
Oh yeah, that is for sure. But it's my number 2 style pizza, I would say. Number 2. Number 1, Trenton style tomato pie, but that is only in a very small part of New Jersey. But It's worth it. Di Lorenzo is one of the best. Geez, thinking about pizza has made me realize I don't have time to get to Charmer, but I'm sure we'll get to him at some point. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Summer. Everybody, please stay fresh.